Hi, I'm Nicole, Kayla's aunt and Michelle's sister. The day Kayla was born was a special day, obviously because Kayla was born, but she was my first niece. I already had Kevin as my nephew, but she was our first niece, and it was also the first day that Rob and I actually went on our first official date that we stayed together as a couple. So we always celebrated Kayla's birthday for Kayla, and then as the fact that we were celebrating our anniversary of being together. Once Kayla was born, I was in college, and unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of money. And so, one way that my sister tried to help me out was to have me babysit for the kids. So, one of my earliest memories of babysitting for Kevin and Kayla was I had to pick them up and bring them back to their house. And when I got back to their house, I had to get them out of their car seats. I could not figure out for the life of me how to get Kayla out of her car seat. I was sweating. I was doing whatever I could. I could not figure out how to get her out. I asked Kevin. He was of no help. Thanks, Kev. He did say there's a button. I don't know where this button was. Couldn't figure it out. So I ended up having to take Kayla completely out of the car in her car seat and bring her into Michelle and Terry's house, sit her on the counter, and wait for Michelle and Terry to come home. So the poor girl had to sit in her car seat the entire time. Come to find out, there was a button to push. It was under some material, but as a 19-year-old, I did not know that. So she was able to be freed finally. This picture is a cute one. I love this picture. They are wearing these little hats that I bought them. I had went to SeaWorld the summer before my senior year in college. I had an opportunity to go on an almost all expense paid trip. And while I was there, I bought them these little hats as souvenirs because, again, I was always trying to look for things I can do to buy for them because I was so excited to have a niece and nephew. As the kids got a little bit older, I was lucky enough to have them be a part of my wedding. Kayla was my flower girl. Kevin was my ring bearer, along with my nephew Josh as well. And it was my dream to have my nieces and nephews be a part of my wedding. So I was very, very excited to have that happen. Kayla was as adorable as could be, as was the two boys. As the kids grew up, I would spend some time with them. We would go to places like Great America, the not Metropolitan, but the Chicago Art Museum, Art Institute. That was not me or Kayla's favorite place to go. Kevin and Michelle loved it. Kayla and I kind of went, ugh, but we went because we knew we would do other things that we would enjoy. So yeah, we did different trips like that around Chicago. Well, we went down to St. Louis one time with their camper. So we did a lot of fun things. When my sister called me one day to say that they were going to be moving to Virginia, I was very sad because my first thought was, what am I going to do with the kids? They're not going to know who I am. They're not going to be able to spend as much time with me. I don't want to be that aunt that they see every once in a great while and don't really know. Fortunately for me, I was able to go out and visit them over the summers, and we continued to do what we had done back here in Chicago. Here's pictures of us at Busch Gardens in Virginia. We used to ride the roller coasters together. Um, this trip is memorable because we were watching a show and it started to pour rain. So we had to run to the tram to get out of the rain and we were soaking wet. And then as we're on the tram, it was just pouring and pouring and pouring on us. So we got back to the car and we were just absolutely drenched. That was the first moments of the times where I thought to myself, with the fobs, you always have to run somewhere. Um, Other things that we did when I went to visit, where we went to Williamsburg, Gettysburg, Jamestown, Washington, D.C. The kids weren't as thrilled about those things, having to go to all those historical places, but Aunt Nicole always loved to visit those kind of places, so they went, sometimes begrudgingly. I wish I had my one picture of the two of them sitting in by a fountain in Washington, D.C. with their heads in their hands because they were just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're here. Can we get out of here? And then right after that picture was taken, I believe we had to run to the train to get back to our car. Hence, once again, you have to run when you're with the fobs. So again, lots of great memories visiting them while they were growing up. Another fun memory from this time as well was they would pick me up at the airport, and my brother-in-law would love to do the let's beat the clock at the airport, so we didn't have to pay to park, and it was 15 minutes. So one time we were coming out and we were getting really close to the 15 minutes, so we had to run to the car again, running in with the Fob family, and I tripped and fell. Kayla said, always would laugh because she said she turned around and she saw me sprawled on the ground. My Harry Potter book was way off to the one side. And they were just like, what in the world? What did you trip over? I probably tripped over my own 2 feet. Who knows? Because I'm a klutz. So it became known as you're pulling a Nicky whenever you fell. I'm very happy to say that torch got passed on to Terry because Terry has done a couple of falls in recent times, and Kayla says now it's called pulling a Terry, pulling a dad. The kids also did come out to Wisconsin. Rob and I had a cabin there where we had jet skis and we had um, a pontoon. And so they came to visit us and had some fun doing those activities. This is also the first time that I ever saw two kids who asked for a snack at night and they got two Oreos and they were satisfied with two Oreos. Rob and I just kind of looked at each other like, who in the world eats two Oreos? But that was Kevin and Kayla. They always had those snacks around and they just not were not ones they liked to snack, but they didn't have a lot of it at one time. And then as we got older, our trips got bigger. We went on a family trip to Alaska. So here's a couple of fun pictures from Alaska. We went on a cruise, then we went on a land tour afterwards. We stayed at this Talkeetna Lodge in Alaska. I have pictures of Kayla and Kevin and Rob and Cheryl all jumping from that sign there. That was apparently something fun we thought to do. We went with the dogs. We saw the Iditarod dogs and had them push us on the sled. So we had a lot of fun things to do. I will point out that while we were in Alaska, I was not with them at this time, but they were on an excursion, the Fobb family and Cheryl, and they had to run to catch the bus in the end. Once again, the Fobbs running. Next year, we went to Hawaii. Rob and I had planned a trip to Hawaii and invited my sister Cheryl and my mom to come with because it was my mom's dream to go to Hawaii. Unfortunately, my mom got sick while we were planning that trip, so Michelle and Kayla graciously offered to come with us to kind of help with mom, and we had to end up having a lot of fun. Me, Rob, Kayla, and Cheryl went on a couple of airplane trips above the volcanoes on the Big Island, and then went above Kauai, and it had just rained, so there's lots of pretty waterfalls. We went and swam with some sharks. I had a sign of waiver form for Kayla as her guardian to say that she can go because she wasn't 18. We rented a car one day, a convertible to drive around the island, and Kayla went with us for a while on that trip. So again, a lot of fun memories that we had on that trip with my mom. Once Kayla went to college, she went to Pittsburgh to Duquesne University. I went to visit her quite a few times while she was there as well. And although many of the things I did when I was there, I did with my sister Michelle or my sister Cheryl as well. You know, I went to some Pittsburgh Steelers games. I went to the Pittsburgh Steelers training camp, saw Mr. Rogers' neighborhood stuff. Lots of fun things I did that Kayla didn't come with us because she was studying. That was Kayla. She was always studying, always learning, always doing her best. You know, she got straight A's all the time. So I didn't get to do a lot of things with her while I was out there. But the one thing that happened every time I would go is she would cook for me. And as anyone who knows Kayla knows that she loved to cook and loved to bake. So she would make all these wonderful recipes for me, many that I have taken home and have made myself here at home as well. Kayla loved her family. Family was very important to her. She loved to spend time with her family. So when our nephew Josh got married, she came out so we can celebrate his marriage. Um, and that was the first time that I was introduced to her funfetti truffles. She brought those as a something to bring to the celebration we had. And I was like, these are heaven. And ever since then, she has made me truffles to bring home with me on the plane. And probably for the past few years, I've had at least one truffle a day in my lunch because they're my favorite thing. The last few Thanksgivings, we were able to spend with Kayla. The first one we spent with them was actually in the hospital in Cleveland. We had Boston Market as our Thanksgiving dinner. And then the next year, we had days of elaborate menus that Kayla put together, our breakfast, our lunch, our dinner, our desserts. Oh my gosh. She had these beautifully printed out menus that she put on the table for us and all the different things that she cooked and baked for us. It was amazing. She like worked all day long each day to get us all these wonderful meals. And again, we just love to spend that Thanksgiving with them. When they moved out to Dallas, we also went out there for Thanksgiving. This was in their apartment that they had outside of Dallas because their house wasn't ready yet. So we all kind of scrunched in together to get a picture and celebrate Thanksgiving together. This past summer, Rob and I were able to go out there for a week to spend with Kayla. She showed us lots of things with Transplant Unwrapped and all the different animations she had done and all the different things she did for her transplant and wrapped. It was just amazing, everything that she did and was able to show us. We were hoping we were going to be able to be in the pool for a little bit then, but it wasn't quite ready. But we were excited to watch as they were putting the pool together. And again, excited to spend some time with Kayla. She spent a lot of time working on her transplant and wrapped. We would go and watch Hallmark movies, which she knows is not my favorite thing to do while she was exercising. But again, spending that quality time together was great. This past Thanksgiving, we went out again to visit. And I really think I should have picked a different picture for this because this was our nice picture. But we had another picture that Cheryl, the goof that she is, put up a picture of a turkey on her phone. And it was a great picture because it caught Michelle and Kayla both turning and giving the most disgusted look at Cheryl because they were annoyed. And it was great because that was one thing Cheryl could do to Kayla was annoy her. And so she was very annoyed that she was ruining our picture for us. So again, this was this past Thanksgiving. A lot of fun. I was able to come out in February to spend a week with Kayla, and it was awesome. We got to share stories and laughter. We watched the Goldbergs, tasted different icy flavors. Again, just sharing lots of memories together, which was wonderful. These are memories I'm going to cherish forever. I'm lucky to be Kayla's aunt. I could not be more proud of everything she accomplished in her short life. Transplanted Wrapped will be her legacy. Many transplant patients will benefit from her knowledge and her drive to get this website started. She's a true inspiration. Rob and I love you, Kayla.